Whether it's true or not is irrelevant. It's unwholesome when you say those things.
Hmm. I can't really say it's unwholesome because like it's about choice and stuff, like it cannot be unwholesome.
When it puts you in a bad mood, when it makes you tired, it's unwholesome.
Hmm. Um, I think I should tell you this that I am currently trying to study. I'm I'm trying to do what good enough. Like I'm just trying to breathe and say to myself I'm good enough. And yeah, like maybe first few days work. It makes study easier. But then I don't know right now. Like right now, there's two things that I'm confused. First one is that this the practice didn't go well because I am easily giving up, or the second one is I don't really want to study. I don't know right now.
Well, if you don't want to study, recognize that as an unwholesome thought.
So you're saying study is a wholesome thought?
If you like to study, hey, I like to study, that's a wholesome thought. I don't like to study is an unwholesome thought.
But what determines that want to study is actually wholesome? Because
When
that
you
is a
like it,
choice.
when you say, I like to study, and then enjoying studying, that's wholesome. It's very simple, very simple. If you don't like it, then you're having unwholesome thoughts.
But you also tell me that I can change the attitude, right, to the wholesome.
Well, it'll take some time, but you have to change the thoughts, and eventually the attitude will change. If you start telling yourself, hey, I like it, I like to study, and then you have the thought, oh, I don't really like to study at all, that's bullshit. See that that's just another unwholesome thought and say, aha, I see that, and now I'm going to come back to I like to study.
But what if I, but like, but it's a choice. Like you had to feel like you want to study.
Yes, I agree. But you don't want to study and you study anyway and you feel bad.
Because
If you don't want to
I'm not
study,
really.
then don't study and go talk to yourself about, oh, it would be good to study. And when you feel like studying, then you can come back again when you talk yourself into it.
I don't know what else I can do aside from study.
I just told you and you're not listening.
I'm sorry. I'm really tired.
Well,
I'm
now
physically
maybe not
tired.
the right time. You need to be sharp and brisk to be able to handle the Dhamma. It's profound.
Okay.
It's profound and difficult to understand because you keep arguing with me rather than accepting that negative thoughts are unwholesome and positive thoughts are wholesome. And you're having a lot of unwholesome negative thoughts. You don't like to study as a negative thought.
Yeah.
I'm tired. That's a negative thought. The right thing to say is, I'm going to go rest now. That would be a positive thing to say. And then you go rest. But I'm tired. That's a negative thought. I'll go get some rest now and I'll feel great in a little while. That's a positive thought. Oh, I'm too tired to study. That's a negative thought. Can you see that?
I
I'm
can
too,
see that. Too
yeah, you're
tired to
too
study.
tired to study is an unwholesome thought. And wow, let me go rest is a positive thought.
Can I talk to you? You say that I don't want to study, but I keep studying, right?
Yeah, you're doing something you don't want to do. You don't want to study, and you study anyway, and you hate it all the more.
So there's two choices that I can do. One is change how I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is just don't study.
Yeah, you don't have to study.
Practically, I cannot do that.
Sure, you can. You can just not study until you get ready to study. You don't have to study until you feel like studying. So, what you need to do first before you study is put yourself into the mood so that you can study.
But there is there other choice that I can take that don't need to study anymore.
Well, you don't need to study anymore. You're still breathing. Even if you flunk out of college, that's okay. So, what if you graduate? In many places, when you graduate, all you do is you owe a lot of money and or you can't get a job. So what's the point of going to school? I'm not a big fan on people going to school and studying, especially studying things they don't want to study.
It's just that I don't know, like for example, if we using the mud as example, right?
Using
Study
what
is
as
like
an example?
it's like the usual, the thing that I have been doing. Even
Well,
if
you
it's
have been doing a lot of stuff that you didn't like to do, that you didn't want to do.
yeah,
Sitting up and being tired, you don't want to do. So go get some rest. Go lay down and take a nap, sleep, feel better. That's what you really want to do, but you don't do it because of all of these negative thoughts.
I try like
Pardon? I didn't hear that.
just I'll try everything.
No, you haven't tried everything. Here you are bawling and crying and saying, I tried, when in fact you haven't tried at all. That's just an unwholesome thought you're having. Can you come out of that unwholesome thought for just a moment? Can you come out of that? Put your head down, put your hand down, hold your head up, and say, Hi, I'm really glad to see you, with a big smile. Come on, let's change that attitude right now. Hi, I'm glad to see you. Give me a smile.
Um,
You don't want to do it. Look at that. You'd rather wallow
yeah,
in
I
your
don't
self
want to do it.
pity. You don't want to do it. You don't want to have a positive thought. Can you recognize you don't want to have a positive thought?
Because I don't want to study.
Well,
Maybe
it's got nothing to do with studying. You can say, Hi, how you doing? I'm really glad to see you right now. That has nothing to do with study. It has to do with right this very moment, because you're not studying right now. You're calling me.
yeah.
So why don't you write this very minute, whether there's study or no study, whether you like it or you don't like it? Why can't you just smile right now and say, Hi, I'm glad to see you? It's got nothing to do with study. It's got to do with right now. Can you cheer yourself up right now? No, you don't want to. You want to be miserable. And you see that you want to be miserable. That's quite a habit you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's practice. Come on. Look at the camera. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Are you glad to see me?
I I am
What's your smile? Look at
am
that.
too deep in myself to even have time to think about that.
Well, right now you're talking to me. Are you happy to be talking to me?
I mean, it's
Come on now. You
it's good
call
to talk
me.
to you.
Are you
Yeah.
glad that I answered the call?
Yeah, I'm glad.
All right. So tell me, hi, I'm glad to see you.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you.
All right. So now we're making a little progress. And now you want to think about, oh, I don't want to study again. And
Yeah.
oh, poor me, I feel bad. Come on, come back. Let's start again. You called me, right?
Yeah.
You wanted to talk to me.
I want to talk about this. Yeah, like
Yeah, you want
I,
to talk
I
about it. So let's talk about it in a good mood. So let's get some joy juice going. Come on, where's your mojo? Let's do some smiling. Are you glad to see me?
I mean, I'm glad to see you.
All right, then say, look at me directly with a smile and say, I am glad to see you instead of, oh, I'm glad to see you. Come on, let's
I'm
have
glad
some.
to see you. I'm glad to see you.
All right, are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really don't want to talk to you. Like, not. I don't feel like that.
You don't feel like what?
I don't feel like I don't want to talk to you.
You
So,
feel like you do want to talk to me, huh?
yeah, I do want to talk to you.
All right. So now we're talking a little bit of wholesome thoughts. Let's continue on with wholesome. Let's stay positive. You wanted to talk to me because you know I'll cheer you up. So let's cheer up. Here I am cheering you up. Let's cheer up.
That doesn't really matter. Like,
Well, if you can't practice in front of me, where and when are you going to be able to practice?
probably not nowhere.
All right. Well, let's practice here now. Let's practice having some wholesome thoughts. Here's a wholesome thought for you. Well, I'm glad I'm not studying books right now. Are
Uh,
you? I mean, are you in a hurry to go back and study? You really want to study? You said you did not want to study. So are you glad right now that you are not studying?
if I don't get it, like, I don't get it.
Right now is what we're getting at. Not when you are studying, but right now. You have thoughts that you don't like to study, and you're not even studying right now. Do you get that?
Yeah,
You
I'm not
get that?
studying.
You're not studying right now. You do
Yeah,
not want to study, and right now you are not studying. Is that correct?
yeah, I'm not studying.
All right. Aren't you happy that you're not studying right now?
I kind of happy that I'm not studying.
Well, okay. So let's go with that. You're happy that you're not studying right now. Never mind 10 minutes from now. Never mind tomorrow. Never mind next week. Never mind when the exam comes. Right now, are you happy that you're not studying?
Yeah, kind of
All
happy.
right. All right. So
I
that's a
see a little
wholesome
bit
thought.
of,
I'm happy that I'm not studying.
yeah,
Yeah. Say it again. I'm happy that I'm not studying right now.
Yeah, I'm happy that I'm not studying right now.
Okay. And you're glad to see me right now.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you.
Okay. So, see, just this little bit has already helped a lot. Now you're not so miserable. Now you're not holding your head down. Now you're not holding your head with your hands. Now you're not grimacing in pain. Look at the fact that you have changed.
It's just not gonna last forever.
Well, it does take some right noble effort. Your only option is to remain miserable. Are you willing to take the effort to come out of your misery? Oh dear, I couldn't bother coming out of my misery. I think I'll stay miserable. Even though I know how, and I know that it takes a little effort, I'm not going to put any effort at all. I'll just stay miserable. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, a bit. A
Uh
bit.
huh. And now you see how unwholesome that is. And you haven't said any really wholesome thoughts like, yeah, I can do this. I can come out of my misery. Can you say that? I'll take the effort to come out of my misery. Can you say that? I'll take the right noble effort to come out of my misery.
I mean, I can try. Just
No, I don't want you to try. Try is what a loser does. Try is automatic failure.
isn't trying is also the same as practicing.
No,
Why?
practicing is doing it. Trying is expecting and getting failure. Don't try to do it. See, the try word is a unwholesome word.
It's unwholesome. I
Yes, I'll try it is unwholesome. Expecting failure. A wholesome word would be let's do it and see what happens. Because you don't know. You might succeed. Have you ever heard of the expression, when you don't succeed, try again?
yeah.
Bhikkhu Buddhadasa says, oh no, that's not correct. When at first you don't succeed, look at what you're doing. And right now, what you're doing is trying, not doing it. So look at what you're doing. You're expecting failure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're expecting failure. So let's start expecting some success. Let's start saying, I can do it. I can take the right noble effort and I can come out of my misery. That's a long sentence. Let's try it slowly.
There's a lot of like promise.
Pardon? That's a lot of what?
A lot of promise.
Huh?
Promise. A lot of promise.
No, it's not a promise. It's never mind, start again. I can do this. I can do this. I'll take the right noble effort and do it. And when I fail, never mind, start again.
Oh, okay.
Never mind, start again. Come on, let's start again. Let's look at those thoughts and see that they're unwholesome, they're negative, and say, I can do this. Take the right effort to say, I can do this. I'm listening. I can do this.
I can do. I
Now
can do
look at
what?
that.
Like,
You followed by a smile. Isn't that interesting? I can do this. Say it again.
I can do this. Like, oh, what am I doing? I don't even get it. I'm
You're
so
saying, I
tired.
can
Like,
do this. That's what you're saying. And by saying it, you're telling yourself you can do this. And you say that over and over again, and pretty soon you're doing it. I can do this. I can come out of misery. Say it again. I can come out of misery.
I can come out of misery.
Sure you can. By saying things like, I can come out of misery. Because while you're saying, I can come out of misery, you're not so miserable. Do you see that you're not nearly so miserable when you can say, I can come out of my misery?
Yeah, I can see that it's less miserable.
All right. So let's practice. Is it worthwhile practicing? Is it worthwhile to take the right noble effort to start having some wholesome thoughts?
But I love being miserable.
Yes, I know that. But there's also a great big part of you that wants to come out of it. You're tired of being miserable. You've loved it too much. So it's going to take some determination on your part. And also to see that you can come out of your misery and find some joy. You can find some joy. Here, let's try some joy. Come back to, did you call me? Did you call me?
Yeah, I call you.
Did I answer?
I am anxious.
All right, so you called me and I answered. Are you glad that I answered when you called?
Yeah, I'm glad that you answer.
All right, so say then to me, hey, I'm glad to see you because in fact you called, you wanted to see me, here I am. Can you say I'm glad to see you?
I'm glad to see you.
All right, so that's the kind of thoughts that we start to have. I'm glad to see you. Are you studying books right now?
No,
Are you glad that you're not studying books right now?
a little bit.
All right, so say I'm a little bit glad I'm not studying books right now.
Yeah, I'm a little bit happy that I'm not studying right now.
All right, so here we go. We're starting. Go with I'm glad, I'm happy, a little bit glad that I'm not studying books right now.
Yeah, I'm a little
I
bit.
bet you're really glad you're not studying books right now. I think that you make yourself really, truly miserable when you're studying. And right now you're not studying. Aren't you glad?
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm not studying right now.
Okay, so there's a smile. That's the time to start. Oh, aren't you glad you're not studying books right now?
Yeah,
Yeah. So every time that you're not studying books, instead of thinking about how much you dislike it, you can say, oh, I'm so glad I'm not studying right now.
mm, it's just I my head is still thinking about that. Like,
Yeah, and when you do, you can come out of that. You say, aha, I caught that. I caught that thought about I don't like reading books, and recognize right now you're not reading books. So aren't you glad you're not reading them? Let's
yeah,
take the positive side for this.
okay.
You have to practice the positive side because you're very, very well skilled at being unhappy and miserable. You make yourself unmiserable. So now it's time to practice that you're okay. So when you're studying, you're miserable, right? Because you
Yeah,
don't like to study it. But
I'm
right
trying to
now,
see it
yeah,
otherwise, like trying to see study as something else. It just only work for a few days.
well, it only worked for a few days. Aren't you glad that it worked for a few days?
No, because
Well, why don't
Thought
you
is
be
what I
happy that,
changed
I
my
mean, why if you didn't work at all? But now you're saying it works for a few days. That sounds wonderful. It worked for a while.
It worked for a while, but it's
Well,
not.
if it worked for a while, that you can start it and never mind, start again, and it'll work for another little while. And then you'll get back here in misery. You can see that misery and say, hey, it worked twice. Maybe I can get it to work a third time. And then you start changing your mind again. In fact, every time that you come out of it and come into happy, wholesome thoughts for a little while, it gets easier and easier. But you got to practice. Here you go, oh, poor me again. I can see I look at you, shake your head, and you're scratching your neck, and you're looking down. You're showing all the signs of having unwholesome thoughts.
Yeah, I have unwholesome thought, and I need a
And I
rest.
can see them in your body movements, and you can't see them inside your own mind. So start looking at your own body movements. Recognize that you're making gestures of unwholesome thoughts. And smile and say, aha, I can see that stuff.
Okay, I I need a rest. I think I need a rest right now. I just oh
Oh, there you go again. Ah, hiding your face, putting up your arms.
yeah.
Right?
That's what usual. That's like usual.
Pardon?
It's like it's like the mud hole that I used to be in for a long time.
Well, you're well skilled, well practiced at making yourself miserable. Guess what? You're not alone. I know about 7 billion people, all personally. Everybody that I meet is generally unhappy and miserable, just like you are. Until they start to change.
Yeah.
And you can change too. Is that true? You can change. All those other people can change. Can you change too? Well, I'm listening. Can you change too? Come on, answer my question.
I mean, I can change. It's only work a few days, but
Yes, but forget about it works for a few days. That's another unwholesome thought. Let's go back to the wholesome thought. I can change.
yeah, it's change. It's that change.
Can you change right now?
I mean,
Never mind next month and next week and after a few days. Right now, can you change?
I can.
All right, you can change. So look at me directly in the face and say, hey, I can change. Say it happily, because that's an important point. Hey, I can change. Come on, let's get some mojo.
I
Come
can
on, let's
change.
be happy. Yes, I can change.
Oh, I can change. Mm.
So practice that over and over again. Hey, I don't have to study right now. Right now, I can change. Right now, I can change. I can actually be happy that I'm not studying right now. I can change. I can change. I'm listening. Can you change?
I can change.
All right, you can change. Now I see you shaking your head. So the thought right after you said I can change, something in your head says, oh, no, you can't. Did you
Yeah,
see that? Did you see that?
yeah, I see it.
All right. So when you see that, you can say, yes, I can change. Don't let those thoughts come back in and take over. Say, yes, I can see that no. Wow, I could see that no. And I can change. Can you see that no?
I can.
Yes, okay, you can see it. Aren't you glad you can see it?
Not really. I don't feel can.
Well, if you can see it, you can change it. If you can't see it, then you're stuck in your misery. But when you can see those thoughts, oh no, I can't change, come back in, you can say, aha, I see you. Come on, let me hear it. I can change. I can see those thoughts that tell me I can't change.
I I see that I see that there is a thought that tell me that I cannot change.
And now you can change that thought with a new thought. Yes, I can change.
But I can. Yes, I can.
Both of these are just thoughts. One of them you think is you, and the other one you think is me, but both of them are your thoughts. And you have a choice over which thought you're going to keep. The no, I can't change, or the yes, I can change. Which thought do you like better? No, I can't change, and yes, I can change. Which thought do you like better?
I can change.
All right. So you can change. You like that thought better. Let's have the thoughts that you do like, so that you don't like being miserable so much.
I'm not sure about that.
Pardon?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure
All
about.
right. Then see that I'm not sure about that as an unwholesome thought. Can you see that? That I'm not sure about it is an unwholesome thought.
Yeah.
All right. So let's change that. Sure, I can. Sure, I can change. Sure, I can change.
Yeah, I can change. Mm.
Aren't you glad you can change?
No,
Well, that's just an unwholesome thought again. Aren't you glad you can change?
I am not glad at all that I can change.
Well, then you're doomed to hell, huh? You're going to be miserable for the rest of your life, and then you'll die and go to hell. Is
Yeah,
that what you want?
yeah, I want that.
You want that, huh? Is that some sort of punishment for something you've done wrong or bad in your life?
Probably. Like, I mean, it's not like I have been much of the positive than negative in my life to others.
Yeah, you're very good at it. Congratulations. You're the most miserable person I've seen today. Congratulations. You're the most miserable person I've seen today. Yeah, there's a smile.
Yeah, I smile because I
All
know.
right. Well,
So,
guess what? You do not deserve to be punished, and yet you're punishing yourself. Do you deserve to be punished?
I do.
What have you done that deserves you be punished moment by moment, day after day, for the rest of your life, and then you die and go to hell? What have you done that's so bad? How many people have you killed? That would take tens of thousands of people to be killed. How many people have you killed?
Not, but I will.
None. Okay, well, that's good. You haven't killed anybody. Aren't you glad you haven't killed anybody? Aren't you glad you haven't killed anybody?
Maybe I should.
Aren't you glad that you haven't killed anybody?
eh, it
Well,
just
guess what? you don't have to punish yourself for killing people. Aren't you glad that you haven't killed anybody, so you don't have to punish yourself for killing people? Aren't you glad you don't have to punish yourself for killing people because you haven't killed anybody?
So you say that I should feel glad for not killing anybody.
Okay. So, how many banks have you robbed?
Huh?
How many banks have you robbed?
No.
You haven't robbed any banks? Are you sure you haven't robbed any banks?
I robbed my parents.
Well, they're not after you. Are they banging on your door saying, give me my money back?
They did say it sometimes. When it's not going
Right
what
now, they're not saying it, though, are they?
they're not saying that.
All right. Are you glad they're not saying it right now?
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad that you're saying that your mom's not asking for her money back. Aren't you glad that she's not asking for her money back? Does she want you to punish yourself because you haven't given her the money back, or does she really want you to be sad and punished and hurt yourself because you haven't given the money back?
They just want me to have good future.
Pardon?
They just want me to have a good future.
Yes, well, I want you to have a good future too. Aren't you glad your mom and dad want you to have a good future?
I'm glad. I
All right, if
guess
you're glad that your mom and dad want you to have a good future, then why are you planning on giving yourself a bad time and a bad future off into eternity? How long is it going to take before you're punished enough for owing money to your mother? Can you come out of that misery right now? And stop punishing yourself right now. Your mom doesn't want you, just said so. Your mom doesn't want you to suffer. She wants you to have a good future. See how unlogical your unwholesome, miserable thoughts are. Your mom wants you to have a good future, and yet you've been practicing having a bad future.
but what they mean is they want me to keep on studying.
No, 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 no. Now you're bringing that in. Let's not say that. Let's say that she is not wanting you to feel bad. She wants you to have a good future. Whether you read books or not has got nothing to do with whether you choose to have a bad future or a good future. It's got nothing to do with books. It's got to do with your attitude. Do you want to continue to punish yourself? That's what we're doing right now, by the way. I'll give you the plan. The plan is to find out why you're punishing yourself. Because you're punishing yourself a lot, and so far you're punishing yourself not because you kill people. You're punishing yourself, but not because you've stolen money. You're punishing yourself not because you owe your mom money, because she wants you to have a good future. So why are you punishing yourself on such a heavy duty, regular basis? Why are you punishing yourself? Is it merely because you're just gotten into the habit of punishing yourself? That sounds like it to me. That you're punishing yourself simply because that's what you've learned to do. You don't have a good reason, you're just doing it out of habit. Is that right?
Because I feel like it's not enough.
Well, that's an unwholesome thought. Can you say it's not enough? Is an unwholesome thought. Can you see that? It's not enough is an
What
unwholesome thought. Can you say instead, when you hear that unwholesome thought, then can you say it is enough? Can you say it's enough already?
it's not good enough. Like,
It's good enough. That's an unwholesome thought when you say it's not good enough. Let's change that attitude to where you are good enough. Say it again. You are good enough.
I'm not good enough.
You are good enough. Say it again. You are good enough.
I can list you 1,000 reasons why I'm not good enough.
All right. I'm listening to the first top 5.
I
See, you can't even come up with one. You said there's 1,000 of them, and you
I
can't even
fail
come
at
up with one.
I fail at study. I fail
Huh?
at practice.
That's the feeling. I want to know the reason why you're suffering and paying yourself such heavy-duty penalties. To make yourself so feel bad and miserable. Come on, you said you had 1,000 reasons for punishing yourself. Come up, let me hear one. Not even one, huh? You can't even think of one reason why you're punishing yourself. Isn't that interesting? Can you see that?
I can think it one
All
week.
right, now, let me hear you say it. I do not have a good reason to punish myself.
I have good reason.
No, you don't. You just said you don't.
No. Let me say it. I'm not doing good enough, no matter how much I'm trying, because
Well,
I
you're
can always
trying.
see
Stop
that
trying and just be good enough.
I can see that there is other possibility that I can
Yes.
do better.
Stop doing any and everything and just be good enough. You're trying to be good by doing a lot of stuff. Let's not do anything and just sit here with me and say you are good enough. I think you're good enough. You look good enough to me. You look good enough to eat. I'm going to skewer you and put some hot sauce on you and eat you alive. You
I'm
look
not
good enough.
to myself. It's not good enough to myself.
Well, it has nothing to do with what you've been doing. Every activity you've ever done in your life has nothing to do with this thought that you have that you're not good enough. That's just a thought, a bad habit. You've been telling yourself you're not good enough for a long, long time. Now, let's see, every time you hear that word or say that thing, you're not good enough, you can say, aha, I see you and I am good enough. The
That's what
reality is you're good enough. It's a
that's
lie you tell
what I
yourself
did.
that you're not good enough. You've been lying to yourself when you say you're not good enough. You are good enough.
Because I fear something.
You fear something. What are you afraid of?
No, not fear. I fail. I fail at something.
You don't have to succeed in order to be good enough. You're telling yourself you fail. Stop doing stuff that you fail at and just be good enough. You don't have to do anything to feel good, to feel okay, to feel like you're good enough. But in fact, you're making all of those failures by telling yourself what you do good that's good, you say is not good enough. So it's time that you start saying it is good enough. Whether you pass or fail got nothing to do with it. It's your attitude. Can you change your attitude? It's good enough. An F, yeah, that's good enough. A D minus, yeah, that's good enough. Getting kicked out of school, wow, I'm glad to get kicked out of school. That's really good enough. It's nothing to do with failure. It has to do with you changing your attitude. Let's change your attitude starting right now. You're good enough. Can you tell me? You're good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good enough. You're good enough. But look how many times you've been telling yourself you're not good enough, and you know that to be a lie. You've been lying to yourself you're not good enough. When in fact, you're good enough. They haven't dragged you away and put you in prison. You're good enough. The only person who thinks you're not good enough is you, and you're lying about it. You're telling yourself you're not good enough so you don't have to do anything. And the fact is, now you're depriving yourself of doing the things you like to do. Like, for instance, smiling at me and saying, "Well, I'm glad to see you." Did you say that again? Come on. "Well, I'm glad to see you." Yeah, uh-huh. You're actually glad that we're having this talk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a whole lot better off right now than you were when you called, don't you think?
But it doesn't. It just doesn't.
That's an unwholesome thought again right there. I can see better. You know, the truth is
Yeah,
that you're better off now than you were when you called.
I call to you because I have this specific issue, and
Well, you haven't even mentioned a specific issue. You said you had 1,000 reasons, and you can't even mention one of them. And now you tell me you've got a specific one. Why didn't you tell me when I asked you? Come on, what's your specific issue?
I don't know if I should change attitude or choose something else. Like it's like
Well, I don't. Go
it's
ahead.
like you have to walk. You have two choice. You walk through the spike, or you walk somewhere else.
Or you stop walking altogether.
Yeah,
You don't.
it just you choose to walk. Like right now, you choose to walk on spike.
Well, watch where you're going. So when you see a spike, don't step on it. The reason you're stepping on spikes in your own mind is because you're not looking at them. You're not watching where you're going with your thoughts. So you wind up stepping on spikes. I suppose, let me check out. Do you want to walk on spikes? Are you intentionally walking on spikes, or does it happen by accident?
It's a habit. I
It's a
growing
habit.
up walking on spike. That is what happened. Growing up walking on spike.
I
So
know. That
it's like
happens to
it's like
everybody.
it's like familiar to me. So I choose to do that.
Well, you don't choose, but it's your habit because you're not looking at your habits. You're not looking that that's what you're doing. You wouldn't choose to do that. You're doing it ignorantly. If you had a choice, that's because you can see the choice, and then you take the choice, and your choice is don't step on the spike right now. Earlier in your talk, you were stepping on the spike. I don't want to read. I don't want to like books. But right now, you're not reading a book. You're not stepping on that spike, and yet you think you're stepping on that spike. In fact, you made up that spike just to step on it. Where, in fact, right now, you're not reading a book. Aren't you glad you're not reading a book?
Yeah, I'm not reading a book.
Yeah, you're not reading a book right now. So you're not stepping on that spike right now. Aren't you glad you're not stepping on that spike? Or did you have the thought, "Oh, I don't want to read again," and that's now stepping on the spike inside your mind?
I can't say that I don't. I glad that I really read a book right now.
Well, I'm glad too. So now you have to start practicing that over and over again until you get a great big smile on your face. "Oh, I'm so glad I'm not stepping on spikes right now."
It just you don't get it. Like
I do get it. You're the one who don't get it. You're trying to justify your bad behavior. You're trying to justify your unwholesome thoughts, telling me I don't get it. Wow, what a bunch of crap that is. That's just a lie you just told. Of course I get it. I can see you much better than you can see yourself.
It's like I can change attitude of study, or I can just don't study.
Right now, it's not a matter of forever. You're thinking about, oh, I've got to change forever. No, can you change right now?
Yeah.
And then you go right back into it. Can you come out of it again right now? Never mind the future. Never mind next week when you are studying and you hate study. Right now, you're not studying and you hate it. Why don't you right now be happy that you're not studying?
Yeah. That's kind of true, right?
All right, now we're beginning to get someplace. That's where you begin to get it is that you're thinking about something in the future and feeling bad right now. Where what you're thinking about is not happening right now. It's happening off into the future.
Yeah.
So right now, can you be happy that you're not studying?
Yeah, I
Ah,
can be happy. So, but does that mean that I gonna be unhappy when I'm studying? It's like,
yeah, well, pretty soon, if you start being really, really happy when you're not studying, you can take that happiness and joy and start studying while you're happy and joyful. And when you get unhappy and unjoyful because you're studying, put the books down and come back and get happy again.
somehow I just don't do that.
You're not doing that, but you can if
Yeah,
you
like
practice.
when I'm not happy when I'm studying, I just keep going.
Hmm.
I keep making myself miserable,
Yeah,
right?
you just keep going. Why don't you stop? When you get unhappy, just stop. Take a 5 minute break.
Yeah.
Yeah, take a 10 minute break. Yeah, take the day off. Yeah, quit studying altogether for the next 2 years. Yeah, take a couple of years off. Spend that time getting really happy. Wow, if you spent 2 years getting really, really happy, then you wouldn't mind reading at all, now would you? So let's start practicing right now. Right, let's start
No, it
practicing
just
right now.
uh,
There you go with all those unhappy thoughts again. Oh, poor me. Oh, I don't have to study right now, but I'll have to study later.
yeah.
And, th- and
I
then
have
you
to
make,
study later.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then you make yourself miserable right now thinking about something that you're not doing right now. You're thinking about something later and making yourself miserable now.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. Can you see that you're doing that and start to change it? Stop making yourself miserable now about stuff that's not happening right now.
Yeah. Mm.
What's happening right now is you and I are having a conversation. Are you glad that you're talking to me?
Yeah.
All right, well, put your hand down and tell me I'm glad that we're talking right now.
I'm glad that we're talking. It just my body I haven't slept for so long.
Never mind about the past. Right now, you're happy that we're talking.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Okay. See how this works? You have to do it right here, right now, rather than worrying about, oh, poor me, I have to do it later, or oh, I'm so sad because my buddy has been tired. See, right now, you're not nearly as tired as you were when you first called.
I think. Oh, then just
You had a wholesome thought and then an unwholesome thought, one right after another. You smiled and then you stopped and
uh,
shook your head. You're shaking your head again. Let's have a happy thought. Come on, let's have a happy thought. You're not studying right now. Isn't that great?
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm not studying right now.
Okay. So stay with that. Every time that you're not studying, remind yourself, wow, I'm glad I'm not studying right now. Because you're not studying a lot. You're spending all your time hating studying rather than actually studying.
Yeah, that's.
And that you keep thinking about studying and hating it because you think you're going to fail at it. And you already see yourself as a failure. Why don't you just say, well, right now I'm okay? Right now you're not studying and you feel a lot better. Wow, that's good enough.
That's good.
It's good enough right now. Until you start having unwholesome thoughts about I've got to study later. And then you make yourself miserable now. So why don't you come out of that right now and come out to the reality is right now you're not studying and you're okay. Right now you're not studying and you're okay.
Yeah.
You can feel good when you're not studying. So start spending some time feeling good. You feel bad about the studying even when you're not studying. So let's start to change that. When you think about studying, that when you're not studying, you say, hot dog, right now I'm not studying.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, I'm about to pass out right now.
All right, well, why don't we go ahead and finish this call and you go enjoy passing out?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass out.
Yeah, go pass out happily.
It just the bad thought is coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll see you later. Call again when you're ready, and we'll continue talking about how you can come out of your unwholesome thoughts.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you.
Good to see you.